Good evening. Welcome to the Same Old Arsenal podcast. I actually, I probably could rant for a whole hour about
Probably.
this whole situation, but I'm not going to because I've got my fabulous Albert from Albert JTV. Hello, my darling.
How are you? Thanks for having me on. I think you picked a good game to get me on, man. I don't think you
Well,
thought it turned out like this, but yeah, you got me on. So
it was interesting, wasn't it? Because
it
me and you
was.
were going to go live last night, but I wasn't very well. I haven't been well all week, just with a
Mm,
cold and a cough and stuff like that. So I do apologise now if I start coughing. I'll try and mute as much as I can. Um, and then I was a bit like halfway through the game thinking, I just don't feel well enough. And then at the end of the game, I said to you, I'm too angry. It will be just ranty, ridiculous. By tomorrow evening, Albert, I'll be calmer. But that's not true. I'm
yeah.
still really angry, which is very, very unlike me. So, first of all, let's welcome everybody in the chat room. Thank you so much for joining us, um, and everyone on audio. And as I said, I promise I'm going to try not to cough so much. We're going to do a little bit of a different format tonight. Um, what we're going to do is just go straight to your questions because obviously there are so many talking points that I don't want to miss all your questions. As
Yeah.
I always say, it's live and interactive, and it's all about the viewers. So me and Albert are going to answer everything. I'm just going to talk a few seconds about the radio thing this morning. But if you get your questions in or your comments or anything, I do really, I sort of understand and I know what's coming, and I really, really believe that I'm going to try and keep calm, and I'm sure Albert is. So a couple of days ago, Radio 5 Live asked me to go live on Sunday morning. Actually, it was only yesterday, funny enough, they asked me. It wasn't one of those 20 past 6 in the mornings, it was up past 8. So I said, all right, go on. I'm not going to the game, but obviously I'll be watching.
Mm,
Um, yeah. So this morning I was on with a Newcastle fan, and normally when I'm on the radio, Albert, the fans that I'm with, the opposing team, are great. You know, generally,
yeah.
fair minded and stuff like that. Even when I was on with a Tottenham girl, she was fine. But this Newcastle fan just, I mean, I don't understand where he was coming from because he accused us of time wasting at nil-nil. Right. So what happened was I spoke, just in case anyone hasn't heard it, and let's just discuss it. It is on our channel if you do want to listen to it, and
Mm,
nearly 1,000 people have, which I'm absolutely gobsmacked at. Because normally when I'm on the radio, it's about 180 people listen. So I understand we're all quite heightened. So basically, what he said to me was, Albert, he said everything I said was tosh. All the time wasting. Declan Rice is a great player, but even he was time wasting. And by the time he'd said time wasting, I was like this. I was so angry that I've never got this angry before that I interrupted him and I gave him what for. And I said it's absolute rubbish. And I can see some people have listened, and thank you, Mark. I appreciate that.
Go on, Mark.
I'm going to star your questions quickly. Sorry, I can't do. Oh, I'm going to put Phil Mackers up. I'm not going to read it. Um, yes, Carl, we're all angry. Honestly, we really are. And I really appreciate the fact that you've all listened, generally in the chat room, and that you understood where I was coming from. So I got really angry. Um, we can argue to the hilt about Havertz. Some people think it's a yellow, some people think it's a red. That's fine. I don't have any issues with that. We'll get onto that in a second. But basically, I stood my ground. I stood up for the Arsenal, and I'm not having it. I'm really, really not having it because we don't time waste at nil-nil. We don't time waste. Very rare. And I didn't have the time to say to him, time wasting, Albert. Do you remember when they came to the Emirates last year, what they only did? And actually, a Liverpool fan tweeted me today and said it was the worst time wasting they'd ever seen at Anfield by by an opposing team was Newcastle. So I just think he was there to wind me up. But I got my say in. He said you didn't even put a glove on us, which I suppose he means like bother us. And we'll get into that. And he
Yeah.
wasn't wrong on that. But what I would say is that yeah, he proper wound me up and I proper said what I've got to say. But anyway, Albert, I mean,
Yes,
talk
Amanda.
about on Guy Fawkes night, fireworks. Going to be fireworks in here tonight. I tell you, that's for sure. Um, so where do we start? Let's just get some questions up because
Go
obviously
on.
we all want to say the same thing. Um, right, hold on, everybody. Right, what we're going to do? Let's see what we've got here because I want to just start at the beginning. Okay, let's talk about. Someone's just said Havertz wasn't a red. Now, give me your opinion on that.
Oh, you know what? I was doing a watch along when I was watching the game, and
Yeah,
you could see what was coming, man. I thought, and when he done it, I thought, what is he doing? I thought instantly, I thought it was a red. I thought he was gone. I thought he was toast.
so did I.
Because yeah, it was just so reckless. It was just, for what is he doing? It's hard enough to play there anyway. Um,
Yeah,
but I heard what you said. Like if you caught him with his leading leg, you'd have said no arguments. He's gone. But he caught him with a trailing leg, didn't he? So it was definitely a yellow. But
yeah.
if he'd have got sent off, Amanda, I honestly wouldn't have been surprised
No,
because
nor would I.
it was complete. It was just brain dead.
I I straight away went, oh
Yeah,
God.
he's gone. Yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
And Carl straight away went, that's a yellow. It really isn't. But what amazed me, right, um, was the fact that okay, you're going to surround him. I get that.
Hmm.
I understand that, and I think our players would have done the same thing, and a little bit of handbags at dawn, as we say. But what I don't get is they've gone up to the ref and they're going mental at the ref, and then they get booked, which is the right thing to do. Because they pushed Havertz, I think they pushed Rice,
Yeah.
and okay, they don't get a chance to see it, so they think it is a tackle to take him out the game. I get
Hmm.
that. Apparently, Havertz has got a history with one of them from Chelsea days. I don't know, but I think the ref at that point was right in what he did. Okay,
Yeah, because he booked. I
so
think he booked Gordon. He booked. I think Fabian Shaw. I can't remember the other player he booked, but yeah,
yeah, um, look, you're going to have Arsenal fans saying Havertz wasn't a red, but at the end of the day, it, we if that was if that Arteta, if that was Xhaka, what do you think would have happened?
he'd have been off.
Yeah, it would have been off.
Yeah,
And I honestly think that I'm one of these fans that I'm really not biased. I don't follow the crowds. I say it is it is. I often get Arsenal fans having a go at me and stuff like that, where so I truly believe that was a yellow card. I've been arguing with my Liverpool mate most of the day who said it was a red. Okay, but that's your opinion, and I
yeah,
would never say you're wrong. My opinion is it's really when you look at it, even in slow motion, it doesn't even catch him really. It's his
no,
trailing leg, he falls over it. It looks so bad. I get that. And Karen Russell, I agree with you. We all thought Havertz was gone. We
yeah,
we honestly did. Yamara G is saying, I love Havertz a little more for yesterday's game. I sort of get that as well. I think he put himself around. I think he played okay, to be honest. Um, Shaka would have had a hard red after nutting someone. I mean, Kevin Harold saying some other refs would have given a red. I get that. Okay, let's move on because I think that's when it started to get a little bit tasty, didn't it?
yeah. But yeah, man, just jumping quickly. Like
Yeah, sure.
I know people talk about the VAR and the officiating and the referees are this and that, but I got to be honest. When I found out who was refereeing our game yesterday, I was like, uh oh. Because there's been I think there was a piece by I can't remember who he writes for, Jonathan Northcross, the Scottish
Mm.
journalist, and he said like I think he was basically saying like there's been too many instances where this guy's been the referee in games. He just lost control, man. There was various moments in that game yesterday. Stuart Atwell completely lost control. Um, and yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Really, yeah. I was a bit concerned we got him as the ref, if I'm being honest with you. But people might say, "Oh, but none of the refs are any good." But
Yeah.
with particular refs, certain refs, Amanda, I'm like, yeah, Stuart Atwell. I can't remember a game he's officiated well, whether it be for Arsenal or any game in the Premier League he's been officiating in.
I don't look at the refs anymore because sorry, I'm on the other page where I just they're all terrible. And do you know what? To be fair, the only thing I think he got wrong was Guimarães staying on the pitch.
Yeah, he
But
got booked. Like, yeah,
VAR, he can only go on what they're telling him.
yeah,
He may not have seen. No one. well, we'll get to these bits in a minute, but so I think I don't know what Newcastle's game was. Now, do I feel we deserve to win it? No. Do I feel we deserve to lose it? No. I feel a draw would have been fair. Albert, overall in the whole game, do you agree or not?
Yeah, I said a draw. I said I think it was we definitely didn't deserve to win the game, man. Like, whether it's on the naked eye or you look at it from a statistical point of view, we didn't deserve to win the game. I thought we frustrated them
Mm,
completely. And you saw that with Bruno Guimarães. It's not the first time actually. I've seen him play a few times Newcastle. He just lost his head. Amanda, we had 14 shots at goal. They had 9. They had 2 on target. We had 1. The only clear chance for me in that entire game was Callum Wilson in the first half because we nullified them. I thought the last sort of 5 minutes of the first half, they came into it a little bit more, and I thought halftime came for Arsenal at a very good time.
yeah. And I thought we sort of dominated it a little bit. I thought we frustrated them. Excuse me. What I do feel is not much up front, and it was a
Oh God,
shame. Yeah,
let's get started.
Jesus and Erdegaard were missing. Um,
Mm.
and we're going to get onto this now. John Rowe, are you concerned about Saka's form as I am? We also had another person in the chat room that I have starred. I'm going to get there in a second. Simon Lester, does anyone think Saka isn't fully fit? Now, I've said this for a few weeks that he is not up to the standard that we're used to, Albert. Um, he gets clattered every game about at least 6 or 7 times. Um, we all love him. He's our star boy, absolutely. But what do you think about his form at the moment? Do you agree with the guys that maybe he's not fully fit, something going on?
Oh, he's definitely not fully fit. I mean, we had the last international break. What's the game he came back and he started? I said, and he started, but he didn't. You could see he wasn't clearly fit. I can't remember what game it was now. It's a Premier League game, but um, and when you was out injured, yes, he didn't play for England in the 2 games, but it wasn't like he had a minor knock. There was a couple of issues with him. He's come
Mm,
back after the national break. He didn't look fully fit in the game. It's gonna annoy me. I can't remember the game now. And we already know when Arsenal play. And if, to be honest, if you're a dangerous player anyway, playing in a wide area, a lot of teams are going to double up on you. Like we saw it last season when we went to Newcastle game. Almiron and Joel Linton done a very, very good job on our wide forwards
yeah.
in the game in the Emirates. And they did the same yesterday. But when you combine that with the fact that he's not fit, that's why you're getting the performances that you're getting. And quite clearly for me, he's reluctant that he won't take him off.
Mm,
And quite clearly
mm,
you don't trust Reece Nelson to bring him on because Reece Nelson's not injured, Trossard's not injured. You got to look at it and say, is he affecting the game? He's not. Um, Martinelli tried on the other side, but Saka, um, it's not a crisis of confidence. I won't go that far, but he's not on it, and I just don't understand why he's not bought off, why he wasn't bought off earlier, or managed to come back into the team a little bit better, even as good as he is after the last international break.
and I hate talking about him in this way, but I do feel it's starting to see that he may need a break and we may need to bring someone on instead. It's a shame that again ESR is slightly injured. We don't know what's going on with Erdegaard, do we? Someone's just saying it's fitness. Um, what do you think's going on there?
What with Erdegaard? I mean,
Mm,
it was a bit. I did find it a little bit strange when Arteta come out and said he's had an issue for a few weeks. I was like, okay, it can't have been that serious because he's obviously playing minutes. I mean, he brought him on against West Ham. I got no idea why he done that. At the stage it was, I just didn't understand that. And obviously, we found out he missed the game yesterday. So, again, another one of our key players, our key talisman, is not on it, and now he's injured, Amanda. Now, they've been a little bit scarce about how long he's going to be out for. Touching on ESR as well, that apparently looks a little bit more serious than it is.
Emerson
Uh,
saying it's a hip problem with Erdegaard. That's not good.
no, it's not. That's one of the worst places. To be honest, for any sportsman. Um, yeah,
He
that's
looked all
not.
right
That's
against West Ham for the last 10 minutes, didn't he? Scored a goal. Looked okay.
Yeah, but I think I get why people were quite frustrated when they saw the team lineup or squad I went to Newcastle, and obviously he wasn't part of it. You thought, well, if he's had an issue for a few weeks, that can't have just gone away, and then you brought him on against West Ham, and then now he's missing for the game yesterday. You're like, well,
Mm.
and again we still don't actually really know how long he's going to be out for.
But Karen's got a point. Why bring Erdegaard on in the week if he's not fit? He
And
looked all
that's what
right.
and that's what a lot of Arsenal fans didn't understand.
Yeah.
Uh,
I didn't understand actually at West Ham why he did that at 3-0 down. We've lost the game. What you doing? It's Newcastle on Saturday. Unless that he
co-
wanted a little bit of a run out or a warm up for
yeah,
them, I don't know. But
completely bizarre.
I kept saying to Cole, what's he bringing them on for? I don't want any of these lot to get injured. We've got a massive game Saturday evening. So I don't know. I'm not a football coach, but I am here to say my opinion, and I wouldn't have brought them on. Okay, so let's move on. God, I don't even know where to start. So in the first half, I think his name, I don't know if I say it right, Gomeres, is that
Bruno
correct?
Guimarães, yeah, that's right, yeah.
I I think the one word that I'd use for him is snidey. He reminds me of Diego Costa, that nudger, that snidiness. I don't like it in players. I know a lot of football fans love their players to be like this, but I don't like snidey players. And he's snidey. He literally forearmed Jorginho in the head and told him to get up.
Yeah, it's crazy because he actually went. I remember it. Guys remember it watching the game yesterday when he actually went in for a tackle before that, which was completely out of control. He's never going to get the ball, and he gets up and he does the cheeky whether you want to call it elbow or forearm smash, but
Yeah.
he's got that about him, Bruno Guimarães. Like I said, I've seen him play for Newcastle quite a few times now, and he lost control yesterday. And the reason why he got frustrated is because Newcastle couldn't get at us in the first 15, the first 20. But yeah, he knew it got booked actually, I think, on the 87th minute. I thought, what's Stuart Atwell doing? Like, how
I
many
know.
offences does he need to
I know.
commit before he gets? I mean, I think he got the yellow card for pushing. Was it Vieira when he shoved him? He shoved him in the face or the throat, whatever it was, in the second half. But yeah, he was lucky to stay on yesterday. Just not even just purely for the incident with Jorginho, but the persistent fouling that he was doing.
I I mean, I remember looking at Carl going, he should be off. And then they're arguing whether it was an elbow or not. It doesn't matter. You've raised your hands. It's an arm.
Intent.
It is everything. It should
Yeah.
just be off. There is no debate. It's not like we're sitting there going, should it be a yellow? It shouldn't be a yellow. It's either nothing or a red.
Mm.
There is no, you can't book for some hitting someone. But yet they looked at it and deemed it as not what? What did they deem it as? It
Was it
is
what was
intent.
was
It's off
what
the
was it? Was
ball.
it was it insufficient evidence? Was it?
I, 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 I don't know. But I mean, as Carl's saying, Gamera should have been sent off for the forearm smash. Absolutely. And it's getting to that point where you're like, you know, it's not enjoyable watching football games anymore. And then the big thing happens, obviously, that we'll get
Oh
into.
God.
Um, it's I'm trying to be calm, but I'm so angry. I really am because I've been going to football since I was 4 years old, Albert. Right. I've seen really, really bad football. I've seen terrible times at Highbury. I've seen wonderful times at Highbury. I've seen everything. We didn't have VAR. We didn't have goal line technology. We just had to trust referees. And I want to go back to those days. I've never wanted VAR. And someone tweeted me today, an Arsenal fan, and said, "Yeah, but look at the ones we've got away with." And I can't remember sitting there going, "Oh, we got away with that one." You look at Martinelli against Brighton 2 seasons ago, when it was inconclusive evidence, and they ruled out the goal.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
it's crazy. No, I don't understand. I mean, obviously, at the time I was doing the watch long, so I caught up with what was being said at sort of the, people either told me or I caught up what was actually said during the time. But I mean, even when they was talking about it on Sky Sports with Izzy Christensen and Carragher, the way they spoke about sort of the goal and it's very underwhelming and sort of as a matter of fact. I was like, hold on a minute, like they had three opportunities or there were
No,
three claims.
four.
Yeah, well, that's including the handball that they never picked up on, which is strange in itself anyway. But and they just seem to bat it away as if to say, "Oh, I mean, what was it? It was inconclusive."
Yeah, but let's just go through each part. Okay, so let's just bring in James. Welcome
Go
to
on,
the show,
James.
young man. I hope you're well. Havertz earlier in the game was the one we got away with. Look, it's subjective, isn't it? Again, it is subjective, and people think it's yellow, people think it's a red, and that's absolutely fine. If it would have been done on us, we would have all gone red and then looked at it and gone, fair enough, it's a yellow. It actually didn't look that bad. I would have. Don't know anyone else, but I would have. So I think we're just going to leave that alone because we could all argue about Havertz all day long. Um, and that's that. Right, we get to the. This is what I was saying about with Nigel. Back in the day, you can totally trust the referee to make the right decision. I'll tell you when that changed, Nigel. Was it Fergie time and stuff like that? And we're going to get on to Gary Neville
Go on,
because I've had a go
Amanda.
at him at LinkedIn. I've had a go at him on Twitter. I had a go at him last night. I don't get it. I really, really don't get it. Why are Sky putting him on our games when he blatantly hates the Arsenal? Why is he doing that? Um, and I would also like to say that I've had two DMs today, one from a Liverpool fan and one from a Tottenham fan. And the Tottenham fan didn't want to go, I'm assuming, live on social media, but he 100% agreed with us and said, it's about football now. It's not about rivalry. It's about getting the best for the game, and this is not the
And
best for the game.
and, and,
So,
and that's the thing, Amanda. Like, quickly, just to say, like, that's what I say. A lot of these rival fans, like, with their takes on whether the goal should have stood or not. And I'm like, hold on a minute. And even Eddie Howe, when he was doing his post match, I don't know if you
yeah,
saw it, and he
no,
was saying basically, oh, like Mikel Arteta must have seen something that he didn't see. And I just thought, why are you saying that? That's why a lot of football fans get irritated with managers
yeah,
when it comes to post match because they're not honest, Amanda. Like he knows Eddie Howe's not stupid. I like Eddie Howe, by the way, but
mm,
to come out and say that, like you're taking the mick. Because you know what Mikel Arteta is angry about and what we've been talking about. Whether you saw it in real time, whether he saw it in real time or not, you would have seen it back after the game was done. So when you come out and say things like that, when something happens to Newcastle down the line, it might happen this season. Don't sit there and complain. It's that
well,
simple.
I listen. It's not only Arsenal it happens to.
Exactly.
I'd never sit there and say that. I've seen Wolves be done. I've actually seen United be done. Um, and it's going to happen to Newcastle, and I'm going to laugh my head off because if that Newcastle fan on the radio would have said to me this morning, "Listen, we got away with it. It's a red
Yeah,
for
just be
Havertz."
honest. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a red for Havertz. That's my opinion. It's a red for Bruno, which he did say it was a red for Bruno in the end. But we got away with that goal because if that was down our end, I'd have been going mad. He never said that. And I pushed him on that and said, so you mean to tell me if that was against you, you'd have been perfectly fine with it? Do me a favour. You wouldn't have been. So let's just now talk about the situation with all these camera angles and all these lines and all these camera views they haven't got. And I'm gonna talk about how disappointed I am with the Arsenal defence in this anyway. So the ball goes over to the corner flag. No one knows it's out at that point, and no
mm,
Arsenal player is running towards it apart from a Newcastle player. And I was saying to Carl at the time, why have we not gone to challenge the ball? And Carl went, it's out. I went, but you play to the whistle. You you
yeah,
don't you don't do that. No one went to it. Now it comes back in. He put He handballs it down. He pushes Gabriel one on the neck, one on the back. I've seen
yeah.
the pictures. And then you've got two players and they're offside. Now, I'm going to go to the ball being out. We don't know. No one can categorically say 100% whether that ball was in or out. You can look at still pictures all you want, people, but the
Yeah.
curvature of the ball, you're not going to see that. Now, I get that, and I'm not going to argue about that. Okay. Then it comes over. What I will argue, and I've said this on the radio, I'll give you the fact that maybe it wasn't even a handball. Maybe it wouldn't be seen like that. But the pushing his back, Albert,
Mm.
is a foul. And then it's offside. So you've got 4 chances here, and 2 are one's factual and one is subjective. I get
Yeah.
that. So talk me through your thoughts. And I am annoyed with Arsenal not challenging for the ball, by the way.
Yeah. It's funny because when I was doing the watch along, obviously, I was thinking if you look at all the instances that you just talked about,
Yep.
I thought, okay, when I saw the first obviously they showed the still shot, the ball being out, I thought, this is gonna be this is gonna be turned over, no problem. Then it went on a bit longer, and I thought, oh, maybe the ball might be still in. Okay, cool, I can live with that. Then I see the other two instances, what they're checking for the offside and the foul. I'm like, oh my god, what is going on, man? Um, and even if you're not going to give it for the offside, the one key thing for me was it was a foul on Gabriel. I thought I don't want to judge it at real because I wasn't really seeing it because I was so annoyed that the goal went in the first place. But when I watched it back and I watched it back again, and let me say this, Amanda, because I've seen a lot of people, whether it be WhatsApp group chats or what we've seen on Sky or whatever other channels. What I'd say to Arsenal fans in particular, with what I'm going to say is, we can sit here and we can cuss and we can criticize about Arsenal not being decisive in the final third. This is not a new thing, by the way, with Arsenal in this season. Let me make that very, very clear. But as Arsenal fans, don't let them go under the microscope and say that Gabriel should have been stronger in the chat. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I thought that.
That's nonsense. I heard Carragher say that before the Luton Liverpool game. Oh, Gabriel should have been stronger. What, you think he's deliberately not trying to header the ball away from goal? Like Amanda, is crazy. Like, Arsenal fan, you cannot be serious in saying that he should have been stronger in that position. For Gallagher to say that is a disgrace as he's a defender.
Yeah.
You're being pushed. Like, I don't understand what he's supposed to do. He's in front of the attacker behind him. He hasn't ducked for the ball. It's ludicrous to say that. Like I said, we can have the separate conversation about Arsenal not being killers and being ruthless in the final third and chance creation. I can have a conversation with 99.9% of Arsenal fans about that because we will all agree about the football and not being potent where it really, really matters. But as fans, do not let your foot off the gas in terms of it should not have been a goal. And it's not just Arsenal fans saying it, it's fans from other clubs that are saying it. Just because Gary Neville says it's not a foul doesn't mean it's right. It's crazy to me.
Okay, so Carl Fern, who was there, welcome to the show, Carl. Could Raya have done more to stop the goal earlier before the foul and the offside? I wasn't impressed with Raya yesterday, to be honest.
Um, yeah, I mean, actually, if you're talking about the goal, yeah,
Mm.
listen, with goalkeepers, there's sometimes in games you haven't got a lot to do. But when you're called upon, that's where you step up and earn your bread and butter. And he didn't do that yesterday, man. And again, it doesn't help going forward in terms of the goalkeeping situation, which we might talk about a bit more, or we might not talk about a bit more. Um, he is at fault for the goal. Because if you're going to come for a cross in that position, you take the ball, you take the man, you take your own defenders if you have to. You take everything, the grass, everything. You have to get that ball. You have to be in a better position to either get two hands on it or you knock it away from the danger area. And he didn't do that.
So the ball comes over, and
Yeah,
I mean, any other team, I've read so many comments from different supporters, Newcastle apart, who have said anywhere on that field that would be a free kick. So do we think something suspect's going on here, Albert? I mean, I'll talk to you because you're sensible. There's a lot of not sensible people on social media. Or do you think that, I mean, I don't understand how they've not given a foul. That's something I can't get, and I think that's what I'm trying to understand in my head, because by now I'd be calm by about 10 o'clock this morning. If
Amanda, you know
something
what?
happened and we lost the game,
Amanda, it's the language. There wasn't like it was insufficient or not conclusive. Like, what are you talking about?
yeah,
Like, this is what see now. I've seen some people in the chat, and I've seen this on social media. Like, let me repeat what I just said about 2 minutes ago. We can sit here and Newcastle had 9 attempts at goal, Amanda. They had 2 on target.
mm,
They had no corners. Like, Arsenal didn't do enough to win the game. I don't know what Arsenal fans are not listening to. I saw that watching the game with my own eyes. We did not do enough, right? But if we're talking about a decision that led to a goal that shouldn't have been given, as an Arsenal fan, of course you should be upset. I saw the clip. I watched Super Sunday this morning, man. I don't know if you saw it.
no,
With Darren Lewis, he spoke excellently about in
I've seen
terms
the
of
clip. Yeah, yeah,
about
I've seen the
Mikel
clip.
Arteta. Like, fine him then. But you know what? I
He
wish
will be
with Mikel,
fined.
yeah. You know what, Amanda? I wish with Mikel Arteta, right? And 100% back him with what he was saying. I wish he'd have said this to Brentford last season at
But I
home in the
think
Emirates.
I think you go so far, okay, and
Yeah,
then you just lose it. He's had enough. We've all had enough. VAR is ruining the game. Now you can all come at me and go the people behind it, but the technology is ruining the game. You can't jump up for goals anymore without going and looking at the screen at the Emirates. You can't. You have to sit there and go, is it a goal? Is it going to be given? You've got 5 minutes of them looking at stuff. That they're getting worse. I don't
yeah,
know if they should have players, ex-players. Not, I mean, I don't know even how it would work, because then you'd have Neville giving everything against us, and I want to talk about that in a moment. Um, and I wish I didn't rise to Gary Neville. I really do,
a lot of
because
people
at the
do, Amanda.
beginning of him being a pundit, I absolutely loved him as a pundit. I thought he was fantastic. The last couple of years, he's got terrible, very much anti-Arsenal. And I'm not just saying this because I feel like people are saying it. I've thought this for a long time. I called him out on it on LinkedIn. I said, the sooner you don't do our games any longer, the better. Just come out and admit you hate the Arsenal, and that's the end of it. Because he's now
You
come
see,
out and
Amanda, you see what you said in the beginning. I saw someone tweet that earlier about what you said when he first started punditry,
yeah,
as and what you've seen in the last sort of 18 months, 2 years. You're like, yeah, the mask has kind of really just not slipped, it's fallen off, man. To be honest with
yeah.
you,
And I just feel that I always accept decisions. You know, I could sit there tomorrow at work and 4 people could go, Havertz is a red man all day long.
yeah,
Okay, that's your opinion. I'm not going to dispute that. But then I'm not going to have you telling me that Gabriel wasn't fouled. And I feel like now, and I'm not being dramatic, but it's slowly turning me off enjoying football, Albert, because you sit there and go, well, what's VAR going to do today?
yeah,
Now, I am not excusing the team here. They weren't great yesterday. I'm not sitting here doing that. But we could have got a hard fought point out of that. And
mm,
I wonder if that goal shook us a little bit as well. It seemed that, well, apparently on the radio this morning, the guy said that we were diving and we were wasting time, which is absolute crap.
yeah. That I don't know what he's talking about.
And I just feel, why ruin the game with this? Just get rid of it and get some decent referees on the pitch. Um, and I just feel, and I, I'm disappointed, Albert. I mean, I've been watching football 50 years. I'm just disappointed that the game is going down this route of every game. There's so many mistakes by VAR. I mean, when you
You know what
go
is,
back,
Amanda.
but go back to the
Go on.
Liverpool at Spurs, right?
Oh God,
It
yeah,
was
yeah,
beyond outrageous what happened that day. Now, look, we all hate Spurs, but if it had been the other way around and Spurs at Anfield, we would have laughed and then we would have gone, it's absolutely outrageous what's just happened. Yeah. I stood up for Klopp then. I stood up for all the Liverpool fans then. And when they got ridiculed for it, I said, no, they're right. I would be livid for weeks on end on something like that.
you know,
Yeah, Arteta apparently said,
mm,
um, Oh, hold on. There is someone in the chat room. Mikel Arteta hasn't got a leg to stand on. He didn't defend Liverpool when they had an unfair call. He defended the PGMO. And I will tell you something. He didn't. He defended the match official. So I think he defended the ref in that game, not
Mm.
the VAR. And I've said this to my Liverpool mate as well. But thank you for joining us, though. As I didn't see your comment before I started talking. So you now could have Liverpool could have won that game. So what happens at the end of the season? And why is it that Newcastle and City are not getting these dodgy VAR calls?
Yeah, Amanda, I don't know what's going on here. I mean, I'm not one that you'll see tweet and use the word corruption a lot. There's a lot of
No.
people that have done it the last few years
Yeah.
because it's a strong thing to say. And you got with that, you need serious proof. But when you look at some of the refereeing decisions, I'm not just talking about Arsenal here. And let me go a little bit off subject, but related to technology and improving sport and whatever. I'm a big cricket fan. I'm a massive rugby fan, and their implementation of how they use technology in comparison to football is completely chalk and cheese. It's respectful, it's clear, it's concise. When they released the Liverpool Tottenham game, I saw the transcript before I listened to the audio. I couldn't believe what I was reading. And then when I heard it, it was even worse, Amanda. It just seemed like they said they used the word chaotic. It is. Anyone that watches rugby or is a rugby fan and listens to the way they use their technology in comparison to football,
Mm.
football should be ashamed. We haven't had technology for 3 weeks. We've had it for a good couple of, what was it, 2, 3 years now? I don't know how long it's been, but I don't know what other sports are doing well that we can't seem to implement here in football. It's that we should be embarrassed, if I'm being honest with you, for the amount of money that's been spent and to make things better. And it's actually got worse with technology. How does that even make any sense?
Yeah. I mean, don't even start me. I mean, we could be here all night talking about VAR, and unfortunately, that's been the problem.
Yeah.
Um, that we are not even discussing how wonderful Declan Rice was, how strong Saliba was.
Yeah,
That
sleep
was
was
it
good
for
as well.
me, in my opinion. There wasn't much else. We got to talk about Raya and Ramsdale. What's going on there, Albert? I still don't understand it. He wasn't one of those players. Again, I'll say this every week that I looked at the beginning of the season and thought, yeah, we need to replace him. Never in a million years, and I don't think Ramsdale saw it coming either, Albert.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get to the football people as well, because other people start pulling their eyes out. But imagine I look at it from the. I don't know how you feel, and the people in the chat when they watch this back. Uh, When people talk about good teams or great teams, they talk about the spine of the side, right? So we like to possibly think that we might have addressed it, or we've got a spine in terms of you had a Ramsdale, you've got whether you say Gabriel Saliba, either or Partey, Erdegaard, Jesus, you've got a spine of a team there, right? So at the moment, Jesus is injured, Erdegaard's injured, Thomas
Mm,
Partey's injured, and then you come back to your original question: is we've got a situation with the goalkeeper where if you're going to put Rare in, yes, he's been courted and been wanted at Arsenal probably for quite a while. Whatever you believe in terms of the goalkeeping coach or Arteta, whatever it is, but you have to ask yourself the question: has Raya justified his selection in terms of being ahead of Ramsdale since he's come in between the sticks? And the answer is no.
mm.
Yes, from a long passing point of view, he's exceptional at that. But in terms of probably bringing stability and calm to the defense and commanding the box and being somebody who you feel confident with, I'll be surprised if any Arsenal fan turns and says, you know what, yeah, I feel really, really confident with Rare behind the sticks. That's not the case.
So
You know,
let's answer this question. Irv Tom, thanks. Question: Raya flapped at another cross this weekend. Poor positioning once more. Do we feel he'll ever be dropped?
with the manager, no, because it is his guy. Um, it's going to sound crazy. It's like because the thing is, when goalkeepers make mistakes, it really is highlighted, especially when it leads to goals as well. But um, I think we're at a point now with the Rare Ramsdale situation because Arteta's put him in now
Mm,
to take him out. Now, to be honest, there are Arteta's words. He believes goalkeepers can be rotational, which I'm not really sure about that, but we'll go with what he says. But I think for now, at the current moment, I think I'll stick with Ram. I'll stick with Rare. That will terrify Arsenal fans hearing that. But that's down to the manager. The manager's going to pick him.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm
Stubbornness, maybe. I don't know.
okay.
Probably.
Phil said, I'm fed up with the goalkeeper discussion. Arteta has created this issue for no reason. And do you know what? At the beginning, I'll hold my hands up. I rowed with someone about this. I said, I don't see it as a bad thing because if he's going to rotate goalkeepers each match, I can't see it as a bad thing. I'm totally wrong. I was totally wrong. I think it's a terrible thing. And I think that unless you're going to replace someone better with someone better, Ray is okay. He's not terrible. Ramsdale, I didn't have an issue with. So here we go. And people go throw everything up. They say, "Oh yeah, but his stats are better." We're not playing for Arsenal, they're not. So let's just understand what's going on here. But then, Ramsdale was in a losing team on Wednesday night, wasn't he? Was it 3-1 we lost? I've
Yeah,
sort of
to
forgotten
West Ham.
about West Ham away. Um, yeah. So okay. So thank you for your questions on the goalkeeper. We're going to move on and let's go to. Okay, so Trini Guna Jr. Sad to say, but teams have figured out how to beat us. Nullify our creative players, Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, drop him in and drop into a low block. The only way to beat it is to play Party and Rice together. We'd love to play Party and Rice together.
Big problem.
Party is injured again. And for
Yeah,
how long?
yeah.
Who knows, Albert?
You see, this is the thing, man. Like, I get what you're saying because I saw the comment earlier, actually. So big up to the comment question. I think most teams now we hear about the term low block a lot, and it does happen. It's teams know that if they're going to come up against teams that are better footballing sides or a bit or far more superior, they are going to sit deep. There are going to be two banks of four. They're going to make it very, very difficult. So it's then up to you as a side, whether it be Arsenal, particularly at the Emirates, I'd say more so, to break teams down. Um, I think the problem we got is I look at the creation side of it. In terms of Arsenal, this has been spoken about a lot: fluidity, creation, chance creation, all the rest of it. I'm looking at some stuff earlier, Amanda, and in terms of big chances created in the Premier League for teams and players, and they say stats don't lie, they don't. I mean, in terms of like big chances created team wise, Newcastle 28, Brighton 27, Man City 27, Brentford at fourth at 26. Arsenal ranked 15th for the moment in 13 chances created. Even Luton Town and Crystal Palace have had more bigger chances created than Arsenal. That's a huge, huge problem. Massive problem. We knew it was bad, but even if you look at it from a statistical point of view, it's not great if you look at how we started last season. And even if you look at it from an individual point of view,
Yeah.
Mo Salah's top of the charts in terms of player creation. Trippier, Diaby, Erdegaard, even Bruno Fernandes. Saka, I think, has got the most at 3. Fabio Vieira, Erdegaard 2. So you see what lies in the problem already. And man, that's our creative players. So I get it's great having 60% possession, 70% possession, 80% possession.
Mm.
But where are Arsenal affecting the game? You saw it yesterday. Like, what chances did we really create? And that was a problem when I saw the team lineup. I thought, all right, Odegaard's not there. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How how are we going to create the chances? Who's going to create the chances? And even if we do create the chances, who's going to stick it in the back of the net? Because even I'll be honest, Amanda, even when I was on a Newcastle channel 2 days ago, and not in an arrogant way, because I like the two guys. They were just saying, we ain't got nothing to worry about. We've got a lot of injuries, but we ain't got nothing to worry about in
Mm.
terms of your front man, in terms of Nketiah. No disrespect. They said he doesn't. We don't fear him. They've
Yeah.
got Fabian Schär and Lascelles at the back. He's not going to be worried about Eddie Nketiah. Jesus is a different kettle of fish. So, like I said, stats ain't everything, but I think that is quite stark when you're talking about from a team point of view and from an individual point of view in terms of players who affect the game for Arsenal. It's not. I don't know how we're going to improve it, Amanda. To be honest with you,
So, with that in mind, Carl Stark said, is Party's injury record a sign that we need to replace him?
Carl, fantastic question. I personally, going a little bit back in terms of the transfer window, I don't know what the money was offered Amanda in terms of the side that was interested in. Is it Saudi Arabia?
Mm.
I would have moved him on, but that was with the premise that Arsenal do their due diligence in terms of looking at other players to come in. I would have moved him on because Amanda, what you need is, as good as he is, as colossal as he can be, how he can affect the game and add a bit more physicality and as good passer of the ball, by the way. You can't depend on a guy that has missed the amount of games he's missed for Arsenal. It's impossible. I might as well get my boots on and play.
A lot of people in the chat room are saying that he's going to be moved on, and that's
I think so.
yeah, I get it. Well, we can't keep having a player like this that
No, you
is
can't.
injury. You know, I love Partey, and I think he's great. But Leon said Partey needs to be replaced. He's a part-time player. Totally get that at
Yes,
best, and will only decline at this level. He's Saudi league levels. It's such a shame
it
because his
is.
injuries have really held him back with us. Oh, Partey and Rice together. I mean, it's just fantastic. Um,
Because Amanda, people say it. They go. Oh, I'd love to see Erdegaard, Rice, and Partey together, but we're not going to see it happen
no,
because if it's not Partey, it's now at the moment it's Erdegaard. Can't
no.
keep him fit.
Oh, it's so annoying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um, okay, let's just go to something different now. We'll talk about Arteta shortly. We will.
Yes.
So Emerson was saying the ref has a watch that can alert him if the ball is over the line, and you can see on a clear image the ball was over the line, and I'm sure it would have buzzed, but he did not look at his watch once. Then maybe it didn't buzz, Emerson. Maybe it wasn't. I'm not really here to talk about over the line. I have to be honest. We don't know. We can't see.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
get 100 pictures, but you need the aerial view, and they didn't have it.
Have it. Can you
They
imagine?
didn't have it.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Um, okay. Cole says, we have the best players in the world playing in our league. Is it time to bring the best refs from around the world to work in the Prem?
Carl, it's a great question, and I have said this before I ever started YouTube, and definitely when I first started it. We missed a trick, man. I'm not saying. Let me get this right. I'm not saying there's not quality refs in other European leagues now or in the last 5-10 years. But Amanda, you remember these referee names like your Andres Frisks, your Kim Milton Nielsen's, what's the
I
other guy?
remember the Italian bald ref
Pierluigi,
who was,
yeah,
yeah,
Pierluigi
he
Collina.
was brilliant,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
he?
These guys should have been brought over to help the rest because we've had this problem for a number of years, by the way. This is not just a new thing with the refs
Mm.
and the standards of officiating in this country. This has been the case for years. We should have tapped him many, many years ago to try and get the help of these guys to come over. I mean, Kalina's still around anyway, but Howard Webb's only just got the role at the PGMOL. And I think if this continues, if I was Howard Webb, if I'm being honest, if this continues in terms of the refereeing, I would go.
So, with regards to Howard Webb, okay. Cole had a really good idea before, and I think everyone should go and tweet him and see if he'll come on the Same Old Arsenal podcast. Because we've got questions that we want answered, and we don't want it on Sky. We never want Carragher. We want him to talk to real fans, and we are
Do it.
real fans. Question: can we get Howard Webb on the show? Get him to talk about proper fans rather than the PR exercise on Sky and TNT's fault. And that's what I was just saying. So everyone listening, go and tweet Howard Webb and just
He
say
must be on
you were,
Twitter already. He's on Twitter already, man,
yeah,
isn't he?
he is, yeah.
All
Go
right.
and say you were spoken about on the Same Old Arsenal podcast. They've invited you on to talk to real fans. I don't care if other fans want to ask him questions, they're welcome as well, because we're the ones that matter. Okay, we're the ones that pay to watch this, to watch these refs mess up time and time again. I mean, didn't draw the lines against our Brentford game.
I mean, even Amanda last season there was a game. It was. I think it was Brighton Palace at Palace's ground, and I think they drew the wrong line on the wrong player. I couldn't believe what I was hearing and
Yeah.
seeing. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. So it's not just us, and we said that point during the stream. It's not just Arsenal, man. This is a collective, man. Some of these
Yeah.
decisions are a disgrace, and there's too much riding on it.
Look, he has a lot to answer for. Every game, someone is tweeting the PGMOL.
Yeah.
Not only Arsenal fans.
Mm,
It's just ridiculous and ruining the game, Albert. It really, really is
yeah.
ruining. Okay, let's have a look what we have here. Right, let's get on to this. Lucas 81 AFC, thank you and welcome to the show, Lucas. Neville and Carragher going on like it wasn't a foul. Sky Sports are a joke, plus that Izzy saying Newcastle wanted it more is a total joke. Even putting stuff all over Twitter is sad. Now, what I would like to say is Neville and Carragher are my era of when I watched, you know,
Yeah.
I've watched them play football. Neville was snidey. Carragher was a brilliant defender. That's how I'm going to talk about them both. Obviously, played for rival teams. I thought Carragher was a very good defender. Neville wasn't too bad. Both went into punditry,
Yeah.
and I've always like respected them at the beginning. I thought I quite enjoyed watching Monday night football stuff like that. I'm also interested. I watch other football. I don't only just watch Arsenal.
Mm,
Interested in what they have to say. Very weird when it's like Liverpool and United because there's always that little bit of bias. However, as I alluded to before, the last 18 months, 2 years, I can't listen to Gary Neville anymore. I can't. And I'm finding it really tough. I know people put him on mute. I can't. I find it, Albert, really hard because what he's doing, he acts like a petulant child at times. If he goes on Twitter and puts a tweet out, he's got to expect whoever's team he's talking about, these fans, to go at him because he's quite sarcastic as well. He's not. Carragher isn't. He has some sarcasm about him sometimes, but he's not. He's every minute he's sarcastic, and now he's come out this evening. I don't know if you've seen this and gone. We
go
used to
on, Adam.
surround refs. Have you seen this? We used to surround refs. It's not a good idea. And you need to keep it private. And you need to write a letter privately and not what Arteta did. He had the worst boss in the world, Ferguson, for this. He told his players to surround the referee. They surrounded the referee and got so many decisions for doing that that I used to scream at our players to do it. And now he's come out and said that. Oh, it's all right now. Now you're not playing and you're not doing what you used to do. Intimidate refs at Old Trafford. In fact, penalties were never given to opposing teams and stuff like that. So he's starting to grate on me. I've had words. I've said what I've got to say. Carragher as well today. He keeps alluding to the fact that what does Arteta want? Well, he'd like to see a foul on Gabriel, please, like the rest of the
Yeah,
nation.
yeah, it's just
I've,
a stupid thing to say. Like, I don't understand what he's talking about. He's
yeah,
making it seem like Arteta's losing his mind. Like with Gary Neville, I'm gonna make it very, very quick. Like I saw when they broke the news on Sky that Arsenal put out the statement, and I actually quote tweeted it. I said, Arsenal fans, don't fall for this rubbish or whatever I put. I can't remember. He just because he quote tweeted that when they put the breaking news out saying that oh yeah, I agree. Havertz should have been sent off. And it's you're like you're meant to be a pundit. It's like when I saw it, and even when they put the news out on the Instagram feed, and I saw his comment. What did he put? Arsenal willing to embarrass themselves over a correct decision. That's what he put as a comment. I'm like, and you're meant to be the face of punditry on Sky Sports. Like, what is this?
yeah.
Because he wouldn't do this with any other club.
So Barry said broadcasters love people who can talk even if it's shite. If they seem articulate and don't stumble over words and have banter and crap, etc., broadcasters don't care. It's about ratings and filling time. I think
Of
he's
course,
nailed it.
of course. Yeah, it's the landscape has changed so much in terms of the media side of it and what they say. And yeah, like the point you made in the question before about yeah, because listen, I've listened to Izzy Christensen on Sky Sports. Actually, she actually talks pretty well. But when she said that, I would love to ask her and say,
Yeah,
Izzy, can you explain to me with your comments yesterday how you felt Newcastle wanted it more? The game was quite nip and tuck. It had 0-0 written all over it until the contentious goal that went in. But you then turn around and said a narrative that Newcastle wanted it more. Based on what?
yeah.
I'd love for her to explain that to the Arsenal fans, Amanda. Honestly,
Excuse me. Um, I, it's very hard. Because I did like them at the beginning, and now they're like so like ingrained in Sky They need to get some new blood on there, as they say.
Cool, they won't do that, man.
Um,
The bloody hell.
I'm so angry. I just want fairness, Albert. I really do.
Mm.
If we lose a game and we deserve to lose it, and the other team's been better, and there's been no dodgy decisions, I hold my hands up and go, my team were crap. When I went to work on Thursday morning,
Mm.
yeah, Thursday morning, I worked with West Ham. I just held my hands up, said you fully deserved it. We didn't even turn up. You had a great that kudos guy, that great goal.
Yeah, go, yeah.
I can sit there and do that when my team don't turn up. I'm not a petulant child like that. I'm so angry about this. I'm not sure that I'm going to get over this anytime soon. I'm really not.
You will,
And if you
you will.
think that's
There's too
bad, I
many
mean,
games. Yeah.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, and Kevin Harold, I had to go at Alan Shearer last night as well. He blamed the ref for Havertz, and everyone just went at him about Guimarães and stuff like that. It didn't come out about Guimarães. Um, anyway, and James, I've said that we didn't turn up yesterday. I don't think. I'm not saying we didn't turn up yesterday. It was worse at West Ham. It's just that we didn't deserve to win it, but we didn't deserve to lose it. Newcastle didn't do anything, and when they got
Amanda, sorry,
gone,
defensively, I mean, even going back to last season, Arsenal's away form in the Premier League is actually pretty decent. I think he's up there with one of the best. So defensively wasn't the issue yesterday. Yes, you can argue. Listen, I was screaming at Gabriel when he didn't clear the ball initially before it went on to score the goal because he should have cleared it into Rosette. But defensively, Arsenal were good yesterday. We
yeah.
didn't give Callum Wilson a sniff. We didn't give Almiron, and Gordon did
But
not dominate us. But
Callum
the issue,
Russell,
there you go.
what do
Yeah.
you think the issue is in front of goal and not shooting enough, especially away from home? There we go. Comes in
Yeah,
nicely with what you were just about to say.
yeah, I think they said with Eddie, he's not scored. Is that right, Amanda? In 18 away games, they said.
I think so.
I said, wow. I knew it was a few, but I didn't realize it was that many. I said the problem. I don't know. So put the question back up again, Amanda. What was it?
Oh, sorry, I've lost it.
That's all right.
What? Yeah, no, I started it and then I've unstarted it. I'm
That's
doing
all
so
right.
many things tonight. Sorry.
What's the problem?
It was what's the problem in front of goal, basically.
I mean, it's a weird one because I was looking at the goals in terms of the teams that have scored this season. Um, I think Arsenal scored about 23, 24 goals. I think they're like about fifth, sixth in terms of goals scored in the Premier League. I think five off City. City have got 28. I think so. We got 23. But again, like I said, it comes back to what I said earlier in the stream that in terms of the chance creation. Um, and the football is completely. The football is definitely different. Yes, you can talk about teams setting up with low blocks, and they were doing that last season, Amanda. It didn't stop. Martinelli, Odegaard, and Saka scoring 67 plus goal contributions.
No.
They were still double teaming up on Saka and Martinelli then. The problem we got is when we bought Jesus, for example, and I love Jesus, by the way, let me make that clear, is we weren't getting a guy that was going to get us 20 plus goals this season. We wasn't, because it's different in the City side to an Arsenal side, but he wasn't going to get that. He was going to improve us in terms of experience and skill set level and the ability to bring people into the game and create his own chances even, but he wasn't going to get you 20 odd whatever goals this season. He just isn't. The wider problem you've got is, again, we're going to have to go for a phase where we need to recruit better.
Mm.
So part is going to need to be moved on. People talk about Maddison's obviously doing fantastically well at Tottenham. Musa Diaby's a player that was a good player who's gone to Villa, who's playing brilliant at the moment. He's the one to look at. People said this competition for Saka or someone that can come and do better, but the problem is we gave a 4-year contract to Reece Nelson, who the manager doesn't trust.
Yeah, weird that.
So on top of that as well, and the problem with the striker situation is, and I've said this for about 18 months now, Arsenal not going to buy a striker. So we moved Balogun on, we needed the money, no problem. Wasn't going to get game time. Jesus is not going. Jesus is your main man. Will get goals, will contribute, but not to the level in terms of your Lewandowski's, your Kane's, your whatever. Mikel Arteta loves Eddie, but Eddie, for me, I'd say Amanda, in the last 4 games, because you're playing a pivotal part of the team as a main man for Arsenal Football Club after what happened last season, being in the league title race. And I think the last 3 games, particularly with Eddie, to me, kind of summed him up because he had a couple of sub appearances. I'm not saying when you come on as a sub, you're absolutely going to tear it up from minute one when you come on because you've got to adjust to the game, but he wasn't effective, right? He's got the hat trick against Sheffield United, cool. Great for him personally, first hat trick in Premier League. Then you see him play against West Ham, you're like, he's anonymous.
Yeah,
And
it's
again yesterday,
inconsistent.
and I think those quartet of games, I don't. Is he good enough for Arsenal Football Club to lead the line? Eddie Nketiah, for me, no. Um, and even the wider problem we've got is, cool. People talk about Ivan Toney and the rest of it. I wouldn't have a problem in coming to Arsenal, but I'm not sure Mikel Arteta would want him. That's my own personal opinion. And the problem with the striker market you've got is, and this is for every club, by the way, the striker market is not a huge market. It's actually, if anything, it's a decreasing market, Amanda, because Kane's late 20s, Lewandowski's mid 30s, Mbappe, okay, cool, he's young, but we're not going to get him. He's probably not going to come to the Premier League anyway. But the only obvious target for me in terms
Ivan
of a
Toney.
forward is Tony in the Premier League.
And that's what Mark was saying. Should we splash out 100 million? I mean, we've been saying this for weeks and weeks. He loves Arsenal and he wants to come to Arsenal.
Oh,
And we need
yeah,
someone who can put the ball in the back of the net. And as much as I've championed Eddie, and I still did up to last weekend and when he got his hat trick, we do know it was against Sheffield United. I do appreciate that. It's not consistent enough, Albert.
no. Was
He's
it
not.
nine? Was it Amanda 18, 19 goals in
I
100
think
appearances?
JJ said it was 19 games.
Yeah,
So we know that's not consistent, and
yeah,
we do. I'm just going to take a little break to welcome
God.
to the show Ruth
Yes,
Beck. Ruth Beck is our sponsor. What an annoying weekend it sure is, Ruth. So what everyone should do is head over to Ruth Beck's Etsy
yes,
shop. She's got so many wonderful Arsenal paintings and drawings. She's got Christmas cards. She makes Christmas presents, all Arsenal themed, Islington and Hackney themed too. So please head over to her Etsy shop, and she's our sponsor. So one day we're going to get Ruth Beck on.
yes.
She's not keen, but I'm going to get her on maybe for Christmas. But please head over to her
Oh,
and go and have a look at her wonderful
yeah,
items.
Ruth is class, man. Met Ruth last week. Met up very, love the woman, man. Ruth, I want you as a Christmas present, man.
We need to meet Ruth actually at the
We
Emirates.
do,
We really do.
we
She's
do.
lovely.
We love
She's
her.
our sponsor. So
Yeah,
please go and support all her artwork and designs and buy some Christmas cards for everybody.
yeah. Ruth is
Um,
class, man.
I'm just going to, Amanda, you introduced me to Mark Goldbridge and his view on this match is spot. Be great to invite him back on the show to discuss VAR. Half an
Mm.
hour before the show started, no word of a lie. I DM'd him. I said, Mark, I'm sure you're busy, but if you have 10 minutes to come on, because he is great on this show and he is great because he is so unbiased, that's for sure. The way he acts sometimes, he acts like an Arsenal fan. But he was busy, but he did send his love. I will try and get him back on. Unfortunately, he has his own show on Talk Sport
Yeah,
now.
busy,
So
busy. He is. He's a busy guy, man.
busy, gone up in the
Yeah, yeah,
world. Let's see
yeah,
if he comes on. But yeah, no, I get that. Right, bit of positivity. John Rowe, love John. Let's not get too down. We've lost one league game. We can only get better when our injured players return. But when are they returning, John? That's the issue. That
yeah,
is the issue. Uh,
yeah. You know what? I get what John's saying, but I think you just have to go back to Mikel Arteta's post-match. Some of the things he said, Amanda, like, this it's hard to win this. It's you don't you can see the frustration not wanting to drop points and at least get a point. If you can't win the game, don't lose. You know what I mean? You could see it in what he was saying, man. And I
mm.
think Arsenal fans look at it and think, you know what? I get why he's not just annoyed about the result yesterday, but it's who we're chasing, man. Who we got to beat to win this league, and that's what it is.
Well, all I can say is let's get on to Arteta because we've done an
Yes,
hour. If everyone wants to stay, we can stay a little bit longer. So I love our manager. I probably have a little bit of rose tinted glasses. I loved what he did last night, and I love the fact that the club have come out and supported him today. However, not all Arsenal fans feel the same about that. So, what's your take on it?
great question. I remember when we went to I went to Newcastle game last week. We obviously sat next to each other, Amanda. And on the touchline, he completely lost it. I said, "This guy." It was funny, but it wasn't at the same time as well because, like, he knows he needs to calm down. But if I'm talking about yesterday's game, I knew he wasn't going to be particularly happy about the goal. But I got to be honest. Even I was. I didn't see that coming yesterday. I have to be honest. But I was 100% with it, man. Um,
Yep.
I wish more that and I said this earlier in the stream, man. That this is why I don't really pay too much attention to managers post match because they're just not honest, man. This I'm not saying other managers wouldn't have said what he said, but I'm glad he said it.
Yeah.
I wish he said it last season after Brentford because that was at a pivotal stage of last season. Pivotal stage, and yeah, listen,
Look what Yamara's saying, Albert. Arteta said it beautifully. There's so much at stake and there's very little between these teams. The refs have got to get better. I mean, he's
yeah,
not saying anything wrong, is he?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I said, Darren Lewis summed it up perfectly in that little segment that most people would have seen. Um, why should he come out and say if you saw what you saw, why are you not allowed to call it out?
Yeah.
If you want to ban him for 3 games from the touchline, so be it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's funny, Amanda, because I think Martin Keown said it a little bit yesterday on Match. I don't know if you saw. He said, "Oh, maybe he could have cooled down and maybe." I started thinking, no, Martin. I love Martin, but come on, no. He should have said what he said, and I'm glad he said what he said.
I'm glad he said what he said. I don't want him to get fined. He will do. He'll get a
Of course he will.
touchline ban. I reckon 3 games. Arsenal have come out and said, we support him. We'd like to work with the PGMOL. I'm not going to name who's been messaging me, but someone's been messaging me saying he's absolutely dead against what Arsenal have done. He's an Arsenal fan, a big Arsenal fan. He thinks that Arteta shouldn't have done what he did last night. He doesn't feel, he thinks it's really classless that Arsenal have come out in his defence. I've been arguing with him, but again, as I said, he's entitled to his opinion. Um, I don't see anything classless in what they've said. I think they're standing by the manager and the boys. Remember, the boys have suffered as well, and maybe that was a whole big shock to the system last night. We need to get better. We've got Seville coming up Wednesday evening. Massive match, Albert. I
Yeah.
mean, are we going to lose 3 on the trot here? Or is the Emirates going to be rocking for an evening game on Wednesday evening in the Champions League? And are we going to beat Seville? What's your predictions, actually? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we kind of done beating them away a few weeks ago. That was a brilliant result because the away form for me was the one where we need to pick up points. We've done that, so I was confident with the Arsenal's home games in the Champions League that we do the job and get through. So
Mm,
I'm confident we'll beat them. To be honest with you, and obviously we've got Burnley after, haven't we? So man, what's interesting with the Arteta thing, right? Sorry, going back to that quickly, is it's amazing that imagine if Klopp or Pep had that that sort of what he said after the game, we all know it'd be viewed very, very differently.
yeah,
You wouldn't get the likes of Michael Owen tweeting what he tweeted. Like, is this guy serious? Classless. The only one that was a disgrace and was like, I was like, really? We know if certain other managers have said what he said, there will be a different take on it, whether that be Carragher, whether that be Neville, whether it be Richard Keys for BN, whatever. They would have a very different take and very different attitude towards it. But because it's Arsenal and it's particularly Mikel Arteta, or people which some people do have a problem with, it's an issue.
yeah.
But he's right to say what he said. I wish he said
He
it. I wish he said it sooner. To be honest.
Well, I think, he's given them a fair crack of the whip. They've done so many things against us. Oh, and I remember back, I don't know if it's me or I've got this wrong. The Emirates, Callum Chambers, Palace,
Yeah,
was
I know what
it
you're talking
chalked
about.
up? I mean, was VAR around then? Because this is years ago. But I remember that. That was down the North Bank end where I sit. I'm in the East End Upper, aren't I? And I was looking at it thinking, how have they disallowed it? I think it all went wrong for me. It all started to go wrong for me with VAR. I never wanted it anyway.
Mm.
Erdegaard at Old Trafford. That's where it
Oh
went wrong for
God.
me. They
Yeah.
brought the game back. They thought it was a foul and they disallowed our goal. I
Mm.
mean,
Yeah.
talk about ruining football. Is it corrupt? Is it fixed? I hope not, because I still live in this world of, you know, the underdog can win it. But
Mm.
if it's not, then I don't even know where to go. I don't know
Mm.
what is going on, but it doesn't feel right. And I agree, 100% spot on from Mikel. End of. That's how I feel as well. Um, I just feel going forward now, Arteta has been ridiculed by certain away fans. I'm sorry, not our away fans, but other fans of clubs. But surely
Mm.
you'd want your manager to do that. I mean, he was absolutely raging. Forget
Yeah, I've never
the
seen him like that.
interview
I've never seen him
after
like.
the
I've never
main
seen him like
press.
that. Yeah.
Did you see the main press conference
Yeah, I did see
when they
that
were
as
trying
well.
to
Yeah.
go for him, and he was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
deadpan,
He was.
just
Yeah. Yeah. I've never seen him like that. I just find it interesting, Amanda. Like, um, Carragher saying he liked it. You know, the Arsenal fans will like it, and then, you don't understand the statement of the club backing him, and I just find it. I find it strange that everyone seems to have a voice because this guy come out and said what he said. I just don't understand it. I don't get it.
Have you read this? This has made me laugh.
Yes, Keith, Mad
I,
Ramblings.
I fully support, yeah, the Mad Ramblings podcast. Welcome. I fully support what MA said. I'd much rather have a boss who cares like he does. But why should he get done for it? They should have done a post match with me in my man cave. I'd have got banged up. I was so angry last night, full of cold, coughing, debating whether to go live, Albert. But we've
Mm,
made the right decision coming tonight. Although I'm still angry, I'm not ranting like a frigging lunatic. Um, but anyway, right, we have to move on. We
yeah,
really do. There's so much else we could discuss, the same going round and round and round. But Seville on Wednesday and then Saturday, 3 o'clock. Is it Burnley or Brighton? I can't.
Burnley. We've got Burnley.
Burnley.
Yeah,
And we need to get up for that game. That's for sure. Right, Sevilla. Emerson says Sevilla are carrying a few injuries to key players, and it's touch and go if they play. And they draw away Celta Vigo, and they played at the same time as us yesterday. Okay, so we just have to approach it like we always do. I
yeah.
think it's going to be a good game on Wednesday night. Albert, what's your prediction?
Oh, what that's 3 games in. So we've got is it 4 points have we got? Is that right?
Hmm,
Yes. No, six. No, sorry, not 4 points. So we've got six. Sorry, six points. We win on Wednesday. That'd be 9 points.
yeah, virtually
Yeah, I
three.
think I think we get that. I think we more or less be through, really, innit? I'd have thought so. I have to look at the group again, but prediction wise, I'm gonna go for Arsenal to win. I'm gonna go 2-0.
Right. I'm going 2-1. I think it's
Oh.
going to be a really good game, and I think we're going to really up our game. Now, I've said this before, but I'm praying we don't lose three on the trot because the momentum will just be on the floor. And then we've got Burnley. And what do you reckon for Burnley?
Oh, they're on a wretch. What they got? I think have they even won it? I think they've won one game this season. I think one. But yeah, they got it's not looking good for them, man. They've not won a home game in the Premier
So
League. But
low block, park the bus, frustrate, and we need to do what we did against Sheffield United and just
you,
get a
you know
hatful of
what?
goals.
You say that, but they probably don't play. I think the problem with Burnley, from what I've seen, is they're trying to play the football they played in the Championship, and they're just getting absolutely ruined every week.
Yeah.
And they can't do that when they come to us. But I'm gonna go for 4-0.
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say three,
oh,
but four
Albert, I
nil.
haven't written it down in my book. Hold on. So 2-1 me on Wednesday night.
Two 0 on Wednesday,
And you're
and then
2-0 for
4-0.
Albert.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah,
going
I'll get
4-0
that.
Burnley.
Yeah, I'll be there for Burnley as well. I'll be there.
Okay. And I'm going to go 2-0 Burnley. It's going to be hard. We never play that well after Champions League. What's your predictions, everybody? Where are they? God, we've been going an
Well,
hour and
they're
15.
coming. Yo, they're there. They're
Oh,
there. Not
they're there. I can see
go on,
them.
Newman. 9-1. That's it. Go on, mate. That's it.
Newman.
9-1.
He's obviously
But-
bored.
but-
Eddie should get another hat trick.
Guess. Well, he's
Ruth
gonna play.
saying,
Wait. Yeah.
geez, Albert, we predict the same scores. It will happen. I hope you're both right.
Ruth.
Everybody, you've been amazing.
Yeah. It's been
And
lively.
it's been so good. I really, really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. The boys, right? So you got to go and all wish happy birthday to Suburban Gooner tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's
Score,
age
Chris.
41. So he's got birthday celebrations tonight. That's why he's not on. Young Cookie is away, so they told me I had free reign. Isn't that nice of them?
Go on,
Um,
Cookie.
so I can do whatever I want on this show. And please go and wish Suburban Gooner Chris happy birthday
Yes, of
tomorrow
course I
on
will.
social media, everybody. And Cookie is going to be back previewing Sevilla, post Sevilla. We'll be back next weekend. God, I don't actually know how to end this show if I'm honest. It's
Man, we've got
just
another. We've got another international break soon, isn't it? After Burnley.
oh God, not really. I can't stand it, honestly. I can't stand it. I want to say thank you to everyone that
Yeah.
A has listened to me on the radio, B that has joined the show, all the support, everything. Please go and support Ruth Beck and her art. We need to support her lovely little business. It's an Arsenal business too. Albert, I've loved having you on. Thank you for being on standby. That's for sure. Because I was like, yeah, we're going to go live. No, we're not. I'm not well enough. I'm not going to go live. I might go live. How late can I tell you?
I just said, get better soon, man. Let's let me know how you feel. But no, this is. I think of what's happened in the last 24 hours, man. I think I picked the right show to come on, man.
You did. You did. Because the thing is, I'm calm, but I'm angry still. I'm not. I'm not going, oh, well, it's done now. I'm
Yeah.
not. And it'll probably go on, especially when I get to work tomorrow, because I'll probably get a lot of jip about it. But we do have to move on. We have to. We've got
Yeah, of
Sevilla.
course.
In the Champions League, we've lost one game all season. When you put it like that, we're still in the pack. It is November, so we have to look forward. We've got it all out tonight. We need to move on. Albert, you've been a star. Thank you so much for joining me. Everyone on audio, appreciate you even more, especially if you rate and review us. Everyone in the chat room, could you please press like and absolutely leave your comments on YouTube too? I wish you all well. There's been loads of fireworks last night,
Yeah,
loads
it's
of
been loads
fireworks
now.
tonight.
God.
Let's hope there's no fireworks Wednesday night and we just beat Sevilla without any issues about any refs. Good night, everyone. But remember, always Arsenal.